Hey everybody, this is Charlie, the Pennsylvania grain farmer, coming to you from a rather gloomy and about to be wintry western Pennsylvania. Today's Thursday, November the 21st, and we have rain and snow and so on in the forecast, I believe starting tonight, and this is Thursday, and they're saying by, I think it's Saturday morning, that we could have, where I live, up to 6 inches of snow. So, that's really kind of a shock because it's been really warm up until now, unseasonably warm. A lot of days in the 60s and even 70s when, it should be average high temperature of about 52. But, the weather will do whatever it's going to do. In any event, I'm coming to you because I have some news that was kind of exciting to me, and you're looking at it right now, and that is that, and I'm sure this is a big shocker to everybody, that I bought another Oliver tractor to add to my collection. As I said, this is Thursday, November 21st. I bought this 2 days ago, which was Tuesday, November the 19th. I had wanted a Oliver 880 for a long time. I know that they're not quite as easy to find as the 770s because I believe they only made 11,000 880s, and they made something like 17 or 18,000 of the 770s. So they're a little bit harder to find, and especially to find one that's in pretty good condition. I, see a number of them on Facebook, on Marketplace, but, a lot of them are all bent up and rusted up and, look like they're pretty much about worn out. And, rightfully so, because they are a tractor from the late 50s and the early 60s. But I had seen this tractor on Facebook Marketplace back in the summer, and a gentleman had it for sale, and I even sent him as I look back at my messenger app from Facebook, I noticed that I had sent the guy a question or so in the summer, but for whatever reason, the guy wasn't able to sell it. I think it just because his price was too high. So what I noticed a couple weeks ago is that this tractor was back on Marketplace at a rather significantly reduced price. And so I had some other questions for the gentleman. And by the way, this tractor came from, I won't mention the guy's name or exact location, but let's say that he was from the Stanley, New York area, which is in the vicinity of the Finger Lakes in New York. But in any event, the tractor was back up. I asked him some questions. I thought about it. I talked it over with my wife, and I called him one day last week towards the end of the week and said, hey, I'm interested. I think I had talked to my buddy Ben, and he was going to help me haul it down if I could get it. But I was going to drive up and take a look at it, but he couldn't do it until this, past Tuesday, 2 days ago. It was going to be several days between the time I called him and when I was going to be able to see it. And I said, would you hold it for me? And he said, yes, I will. Because again, he was going to go, and it was kind of like it was I'm not coming up with the right word here. It seemed urgent for me to go see it because then after Tuesday, then he was going out of town for 4 or 5 days. And then that would just be a bigger and bigger delay. So I planned to go up Tuesday. I was just going to drive up myself and, take a look. And if I bought it, I'd haul it back later. But my buddy Ben called me and said, hey, he said, why don't you just take my truck? And I was going to borrow my friend Corey's trailer. He has a nice gooseneck. He said, why don't you just take my truck and trailer when you go up to look at it? And if you buy it, you can just haul it home. I couldn't use my trailer because It's a 16-foot trailer, but it's not heavy enough to haul a tractor like this. It's good for hauling hay and, lighter stuff, but not this tractor. And I couldn't use my truck to haul Corey's trailer because I'm not set up, for a gooseneck or fifth wheel where Ben's truck is. So I told Ben I'd take him up on that. I talked to Corey, and he said that he'd go along with me because, as you can see, this thing has a narrow front end, and his trailer just has the two ramps, and he's good at, swinging that front end of the tractor around and, driving a tricycle front end up two ramps. So, and plus it was nice having company because the drive was about 4 hours and 45 minutes in each direction. So, it was a complete day. So, Tuesday morning, actually Corey had worked midnight shift and he got off work at 8. I was at his place about 8:15. He got there. We attached Ben's truck to Corey's trailer, and away we went. And we arrived up in the Stanley, New York area. I think it was about 1:45 in the afternoon. And from everything that I could see in the pictures and the video that the gentleman had uploaded to Facebook, the tractor looked good. And when I got there, I was not disappointed in the least. Because this tractor, as the gentleman had told me, was an older restoration. He bought it from an estate sale in Wisconsin, he said about a year and a half ago. And he had some plans for it. I think he was going to make a pulling tractor out of it or something for one of his kids. But the tractor was so straight and in such nice shape that he just couldn't see doing that. And he has, as he said in his head, a lot of projects, some of which I saw while I was there. He has quite a number of Oliver tractors and equipment. And so he just decided that he was going to sell it. But I took it for a ride. Everything works. Even, to my surprise, the lights worked. And probably most surprising of all, the power booster worked, which, many times on these 770s and 880s, the power booster doesn't work. So I liked the tractor. We talked a little bit, came to an agreement on price. I paid him, and we loaded it up on the truck. And at this point, I'll splice in the video. I did take a little bit of video of Corey putting this thing on the truck. He was also the one that loaded my 770 as well. So I'll put that piece of video in now. Okay, I thought we'd continue by doing a little walk around of the tractor. As I mentioned earlier, one of the owners, and I don't know how many people may have owned it prior to the man that I bought it from, but one of those prior owners, did a restoration on this tractor a while back. And as you can see, the paint is really nice on this. It's not, like showroom quality or show quality, but it's pretty nice. What it does need is, what I haven't had time to do just yet, and that's, to do a little bit of waxing, and I think it's really going to shine up nice. And it needs a little cleaning. It's a little dirty down here. There's some dirt and grease down there on the front wheels, but, we'll get that all cleaned up and looking pretty nice. So right here is that shifter for the power booster. And like I said, this is the first tractor I've ever owned that had that feature. And whenever I got on this tractor on Tuesday, it was the first time I ever drove one with a power booster. It works, similar to what the 50 series had, which was the hydropower, in that you can run it in direct drive, or you can, in this case, put it in power booster mode. And what it does, it reduces your ground speed, but it increases your horsepower within the same gear. So instead of having, the actual 6 gears forward, you actually have 12. And a lot of times by this stage, these power boosters don't work anymore. But again, thankfully, and to my surprise, this one does. One thing I did have to do to it yesterday, as I was looking over some things, the guy I bought it from told me that, he said, one thing about it, when you go to start it, what you're going to notice, and I did notice it that day, was that you turn the key and it goes, ruh, ruh, ruh. Then it'll start spinning fast and start up. And he said, I don't know what it is, but he said, I think it was an 1850, he said, that does the same thing. So the tractor would start, it just rolled over really, really slow at the beginning. So yesterday when I started pissing around with it a little bit, I have a battery tester, so I tested the battery, and it said that the meter said that the battery was good and was fully charged. So it wasn't that, and that also told me that probably the generator on this tractor was working too. So I called my buddy Joe, who's, as you probably know from watching my videos, an excellent Oliver mechanic. I called him and asked him what that might be. And he said, this little solenoid on the starter, he said, sometimes these terminals will get corroded and it's not making good contact, or the solenoid itself might be bad inside. So I took the old one off. He told me, I asked him where I could get another one, and he said, actually, I think I have a couple in my shop right here. So he said, come on up. So I jumped in the truck and went up and picked one up from him and brought it down and, put it back on. And now it starts great. It rolls over just fine. So it was a solenoid. Okay. So that's what the tractor looks like from this side. The front tires look pretty much brand new, which is a good thing, and no cracks or weather checking. And this thing even has an Oliver brand filter. I mean, most filters now that you get from Agco are Agco. I haven't bought any filters that look like this. I'm just wondering, how old that filter might have been. Now, obviously, it's going to be getting changed when I do an oil change, but that old filter was just kind of cool to see. And in case I didn't say, as you can tell from the fact that it has spark plugs, this is a 6-cylinder gas model. I would have liked to have had a diesel, but unfortunately, this didn't have a diesel, but I was very, very happy to find this one. Okay. One thing it doesn't have is the mechanism for the belt pulley, because if the tractor has a power booster like this one does, the power booster goes in the area where the drive mechanism would be for the belt pulley, so this one couldn't have a belt pulley. What Oliver did was they made an attachment that you could put on the PTO that would serve as a belt pulley. Okay, but this one doesn't have that. All right, and you can see somebody, when they painted it, added a little bit of extra trim to, I guess, to try to dress it up a little bit. One thing that I am going to have to do is put tires on this. If you look at it closely, you can see that these tires aren't just weather checked, but they're cracked pretty good. At least this one is. Okay, it has 15.5/38, and the tread, I'd say, is more than half worn off. But you know, those cracks just aren't going to do it for me. So I was actually making some calls today, and got some prices on a new set. This tire over here, it's the same brand, but it looks newer. There's a lot more tread on it, but it's also starting to crack. So that being the case, there's no sense to me, in my mind, to changing one and not the other. Okay, it has, like all these Olivers, you can run 2 sets of remotes. This one only has one on it, but somebody replaced both of the hydraulic hoses and the couplers. Okay, so that's something that I won't have to do. And being this one was made in 1962, and it is one of the later ones, it also had the deluxe seat rather than having the, the pan seat that most of the earlier ones had.